A new middle school in East Providence moves ahead despite the discovery of contaminated soil on the site.
No big deal, says the state and the town, as the I-Team's Brian Crandall tells us tonight. Brian?
Gene, Barbara, during digging for the new Martin Middle School project earlier this year, items like tires, brick, glass, and ash were found in the ground. That led to testing and the stoppage of work on part of the site for a while. Now the final results of contamination testing are in. As work picks up down the street from his home in East Providence, it's hard for Marc Dauphinee to think soil contamination is not a big deal.
Our concerns are that there's toxins down there.
Soil testing at the Martin Middle School construction site found a list of contaminants, including arsenic, lead, and petroleum hydrocarbons on part of the site, at levels above acceptable limits for residential direct exposure set by Rhode Island's Department of Environmental Management. But DEM tells me the levels of contaminants found are typical of soils in urban areas.
This is not a Superfund site. This is not a brownfield. This is a very isolated area. And what I was told is that it's very common throughout the state of Rhode Island.
East Providence Mayor Bob DeSilva.
So it's nothing unusual. And I did ask about, look, is there any danger to people living nearby? And they said, no, you would have to be sitting on this soil and basically eating it for several days at a time, or weeks or months. So you'd have to be ingesting this. It's not just, you're not going to get it just by having it there.
The plan now is to cap the contaminated soil, which is just in the north field part of the site. A cap could be 2 feet of clean soil on top, or 1 foot of clean soil with a barrier underneath, or concrete or asphalt. DEM says capping of contaminated soil is very common for remediation plans involving urban fill, and that when the remediation work is done, it will complete, quote, DEM's role in the preparation of this site to adequately protect human health and the environment. Testing did not find any contamination of groundwater. Are you confident in that, and that will ease people's fears? Because you can say it's common, but when people hear contamination and we're going to put a school there, that might make them a little nervous.
You know, listen, I think that whatever the remediation plan is that's approved by DEM is what we're going to do, is what the city's going to support. And I feel very confident that people are not at risk. If we thought people were at risk, then we would be raising the alarm. That's not the case.
Dauphinee claims neighbors like him, though, have been kept in the dark.
The level of suspicion is raised when nobody will talk to you.
A public meeting was held last month, and notification letters have been sent to about 30 neighbors. The DEM project website includes a 1,300-page report and shows a notice dated last Tuesday sent to those neighbors with the findings and the plan to cap the area.
This is all done through a transparent lens. We want everyone to know what's going on.
Dauphinee lives up the street and is not on the list of immediate neighbors to be notified. He says his wife and son both died of cancer.
A lot of people in this neighborhood passed away of cancer. We're not saying in any way, shape, or form that the two are connected, but the people in this community have suffered enough and deserve to be notified what's going on, and that the cleanup is happening, and it's happening by approved companies who know what they're doing and have done this in the past.
Well, DEM says precautions are being taken during the work to limit potential exposure, including to keep dust down. A 2-week public comment on the situation period ends June 4th. I'm Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.